Hi everybody, it's Michael Newman. I am the editor-in-chief of ILXCTF.com. If you don't know me, maybe you know my voice from videos, races that I've done, that I've shot. But here I am for another year. I really don't want to apologize for last year. It only went a few shows and I decided enough was enough. There was just enough shenanigans. People said that I had a, and I quote, cynical narrative. And sometimes I can't control what the clowns say. So, any case, I stopped. I'm going to try to do a better job this year of keeping it going. Again, Sunday night, ILXCTF. You can always find it on YouTube, on my channel, and we'll talk about cross country during the fall. And there's a lot of things going on this year. We could talk about previews. The previews are up, okay? You can see them on ILXCTF.com. You can see them on runnerspace.com, or they may be on some other sites, portions of them anyway. You know, I can't control that. So today is the 27th of August. Yesterday was the first full weekend of meets. Not full, there were some meets. I'm not going to do rankings this week. We'll do them after Labor Day weekend. I think we'll have a better control over that. Just because there wasn't a lot going on. It was SAT testing. A lot of kids were missing. So we'll get a better idea on next Sunday what's going on within the state. There are a number of meets this week. I was at EIU Showdown. You can see that on their page on Runnerspace. And the two races, the girls' race was uneventful. I'm sorry, it just was. I mean, Downers Grove North girls just packed it up. They scored 18 points, 5 runners in the first 6. Lily Eddington took a little bit of time before she shook off Elise Sarnuski of Plainfield North. And Elise is running better than last year. I think we're going to see some good things from her this fall. But Eddington looked great, and just the last mile she really pulled away from everybody else. Downers Grove North had a 43-second split, I believe, on 5. The funniest thing that was going on, it was a 2.9-mile course, okay? And Eddington is going to the finish line. She looks left to the clock, and kind of her eyes bugged out, and she couldn't. She's like, oh my God. You know, she couldn't believe that she ran 17:15. Mind you, it was 2.9 miles. But when you're running that fast, and she's going to be running that fast for 3 miles this year, but it was like, if you want to see it in slow motion, she went. That was in slow motion if you didn't slow the race video down at the end. But Downers Grove North, they're ranked number 4 in the state right now. They look good. They really look good, and they didn't have some of the runners. They were missing 3 of their top 10 runners, 2 of them that were in the top 7. So you can do your homework and see who was missing. But to run a 43-second split on 5 in the first 6, that's pretty good. So they look good. On the boys' side, I kind of figured Downers Grove North was going to take it out slow and build into it. That's what they did last year, and they did this even in a more extreme manner, where they slowly made their way up through the pack. They were 20th through 25th. There were 7 or 8 guys there, and then they went after Quinn Davis of Plainfield North. Davis was in second behind Zach Close. Zach Close 14:15 on 2.9. That he dominated that race. But Downers Grove North moved up and they caught Davis right at the line. All four runners, Weber, Schroeder, and Eddington, all crossed the line in 14:38. So did Davis. Downers North didn't have one of their runners due to SAT testing. Zach Bender. Owen Stahl of Plainfield North, their number one projected runner, he didn't run SAT. So, I mean, Plainfield North was behind. Highland Park has a good team. We noted that at the beginning of the year. Neuqua Valley looked really good on their home course. And then Plainfield North. Plainfield North was fourth with 80. I think Plainfield North, we're going to see better races from them. They run the Plainfield City Championships coming up. And then at first to the finish. So that'll be interesting. Downers Grove North will be at first to the finish. We'll get into that next week. So Downers Grove North, 29 points. I think it was like a 29-30 second split, but when you have three runners within 0 seconds of each other, that's pretty good. So Highland Park looked good. Three runners, Wenner, Goldstein, and Hatum. They have a good first three. The fourth and fifth need to get up a little bit. And Neuqua Valley is spread out a little bit, but Jamie Janota will have plenty of time to fix that and get those guys closer together. Other meets. Kane County. Close. Canelan 60, Marmion 65, St. Charles East 71. St. Charles East didn't have Jed Wilson. I'm guessing he was testing. But Canelan has the good 1-2 up front with Nosek and Balkanoff. Marmion Academy has a good 1-2. Today it was, or yesterday it was Daffenberg and Carlson. So when you have things like that, it's a work in progress. It's the first meet of the year. We never had meets. I think our first meet was like the Thursday after Labor Day. We had hard workouts. This was a weekend where this wasn't the weekend. We had an hour continual run this weekend at East End, and then we would come back the following week and run a tough workout on Friday. We would run a 1 mile time trial. Then we'd run 10 quarters, 10 200s, and then race on Saturday the alumni time trial, 1.8 miles. And our legs going into that race were tired. So that's when I kind of question early in the year why teams are backing off. We want to run good in this race. What are you going to do at the end of October? So having said that, number of meets. We talked about King County. On the girls' side, Batavia, 2 freshmen in their top 5, won over a good Hampshire team. Watch out for them. I think it was like 42, 45, 43, 45. Marley Edelman, the triathlete, she won the individual title. Oh, I can't remember the second place from Hampshire. Hudson Smiriak. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, or I pronounced her first name, or I screwed it up, or whatever. But she was within 10 seconds of Edelman. That's pretty good. Hampshire has a pretty good team, and we're going to see them racing a little bit more in 3A. Depends wherever they go. We still don't have sites out. We won't get the sectional assignments out till probably right before Richard Spring, the 14th, 15th, something like that. That's what the IHSA has said on the website. Clinton, close race between Crumeen of, I screwed that name up, from Riverton, and Drew Mosier of Clinton. They were separated by 1 second. Hey, Normal University. Now they move up from 1A to 2A. They get Mondali back, one of their top runners 2 years ago. He was injured all last year, but he was right up with the pack. They had a 25-second split, I think, in 5. They don't have that front runner, but man, when they get that pack together, if they're just near the front, and we'll see them in 2 weeks at first to the finish, we'll have a good idea of what kind of team they have. But Normal University, U-High won that pretty easily. On the girls' side, Natalie Beerbaum looks good. She was first, Zoe Carter fourth. In that race, I didn't take notes. I usually wing this, so go figure. One of the performances of the week was at, I think, Mascuda or Bethalto. One of the places, but Elena Ryback, Father McGivney, she opens up her season at 17:35 to win. And then she was like 37 seconds ahead of her teammate Caitlin Hatley, who got 7th in 1A last year. So Ryback is 2-time state 1600 meter champion in class 1A. And she's had bad luck where she had to drop out her freshman year at state. She got 35th last year. I think she could really, this is going to be the year where she breaks through and could finish in the top 10. Time will tell, but I am really hoping that she does that, so keep it up. Bethalto Althoff at Civic Memorial, they won by 2 points over, I can't remember, but they won by 2 points, and they had 4 freshmen in their lineup. I didn't write anything about them. I never try to estimate what freshmen are going to do. After a few weeks, yeah, then you can really do a good job estimating. But 4 freshmen for Althoff Catholic. So, will be interesting to see. That's about it. We wrote a recap of some of the meets that from this last weekend. Go check that out on ILXCTF.com. Big first week coming up. Really big first week coming up. We have Red Devil. Not Hornet Red Devil, but we have the Red Devil invite at KLM at Captain Legge. Hinsdale South has opted to leave the meet and head towards the Connolly Invitational, St. Ignatius Connolly Invitational at Lewis University. So there's a lot of good meets going on. This is when you don't talk for a long period of time. I wrote the last 2 weeks with some kind of virus, and I got to the meet yesterday, and I was feeling good for the first 2 races, and the last 2 were like, oh gosh, help me. Any case, I'm feeling better. That's a good thing. A lot of meets going on. Fenton is no more. They dropped the meet. Fenton's boys and girls teams are going to be running at Harvest Christian Academy for this coming weekend. So it was a good meet. So we're seeing a number of teams. Downers Grove South girls are heading towards KLM. A number of teams. Prospect girls are the favorite there. We'll see. It's a good individual field with Zaneta, Peterson, and Ginsburg. If they run, or how they run, what kind of strategy that they run. Palatine is there. Wheaton Warrenville South is there. Hinsdale Central, different look for them this year. They don't have that superstar up front to start the season like they had last year with McCabe, Skora, and Fisher. So it's an interesting first week. We see what happened. We see what things do. On the boys' side, boys' race, individual races can be great between Aiden Bandequala, defending 3A state champion. Number of good runners. Krieg from Palatine will be there. Zach Close, we saw him last week. We'll see him this week. But there are a number of great athletes. That boys race, that's usually the first race that goes off. That should be dynamite. So we'll see a new trailers there. They have good runners up front that will challenge. Don't know who the team favorite is. Interesting to see what Hinsdale Central has, because they have so many runners. They have so many runners that graduated, but they have a good bunch of runners coming back. So, oh, Norma West. This is what happens when you don't take notes. Plainfield South. It's going to be interesting to see how they develop during the year. I think they could move up quickly from where I have them right now. But Vijay took the race at 2 miles, pulled away from the pack, pulled away from Dylan Maloney to win. They didn't have Gavin Borger, Gavin, in the race, but they had a 90-second split off of Vijay, and the winning time was 15:09. So Plainfield South, very interesting to keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks and then through the season. They're the defending state champions. Let's see what they have. They won 41-52 over Lincoln Way Central, and Lincoln Way Central had like a 17-second split on their first 4. Fifth runner was a little farther back, and that's the same thing. There's a gap between 2 and 3. If Bourget was in there between between 3 and 4, you still have that gap. So that's something to watch. Lincoln Way Central could be a good team. Keep an eye on them. Lincoln Way Central didn't run their girls team. They have some good runners in there. But on the girls' side, Minooka, I would keep an eye on Minooka. They have some good freshmen coming in. I'm supposed to be about that. But they have some good runners coming in. It will be interesting. Washington, who got third last year. Third? Yeah, third last year in 2A. They had their runners in there, and they just took it easy. They won. Ramirez, Olberheim were 2-3 to lead their team. Maya Ledesma of Minooka won the race by about 15 seconds. So Minooka looks good. We didn't. Naperville North ran a dual meet against Oswego East, and Oswego East didn't run their entire top 7. I think they ran that at Yorkville on that Monday before, but they didn't run their top 7. Naperville North looks good. They had 2 of their freshmen in the top 5, along with the Tandon sisters and Julie Piat, who is the lead runner. I think she ran 17:30 on Oswego East's home course. So we got the 3 teams. You got York will be at St. Charles East. Girls team, they look good through training, so I've heard. So we'll have to see. Batavia looked good. They had a freshman leading them. Abby Hacker, I think. But Batavia looked good, so we'll see what happens. Barrington is going to be there. So you get Scout Storms, you've got Michaela Quinn, you have Catherine Klemek. So let's see what happens in that race. That should be a fun race. Abby Lewis from Barrington, too. Lake County is this week. And so we'll get to see Grays Lake Central, who's number 2 in the state. And Barrington, who I have ranked number 6 right now. That could change after next week. Well, let's see what they run. Penn Academy, I have ranked number 1 in the state. In Class 2A, they moved from 3A to 2A. They got 10th in the Wabansie Valley sectional death last year. And Bennett moved to number 1. They're that strong of a team. They're that deep. They're 8 deep. And they're running with a purpose. Finn Richards' brother, I think Sean, lost his life, got hit by a car in Hinsdale. That's where they live. And so keep your thoughts and prayers with Bennett Academy this year. They've gone through a lot in the last month. And even if you're running against them, you know, it's a good thing. But Bennett Academy has such a good team. We're going to see them. The boys team is running. They're running at Hinsdale. So let's see how they run against all these other good boys teams in there, and we'll see what happens. Oswego's there. Oswego East is there. I'm just remembering things that McCabe sent me, so I haven't looked totally in there, but it's going to be interesting. Lyons Township is a good meet. Let's see how strong Lyons Township boys are. There are a number of teams like Oak Park and Downers Grove North that are heading north of the border to Parkside for that invitational. Let's see how they do there. Granite City. Granite City is going to be a good meet because you have Dylan Nally, the defending 2A state champion, going up against Ethan Hogan of Columbia, who last year got 6th in the 1A race. You know, never mind the fact that he came back and track ran 8:49 for 3,200 meters and 4:06 for 1,600 meters on the way to a 4:07, 4:08 mile at Festival of Miles. So that'll be a good matchup. They're going to be in the same sectional this year, unless they move Columbia up to the Chicago most sectional. Just kidding. The opinions are my own and not necessarily those of the people that I work for. Okay. But Nally, defending state champion, Hogan, could be great this Saturday at Granite City. So if you're in the area down there, I'm 5 hours away, so that's doesn't include me. Let's see. We'll see what happens. But they'll face each other. Hogan is scheduled to run at First to the Finish the following week. Nally is scheduled to run with Marion at Richard Spring, and then 2 weeks later at the Peoria Invite. I mean, he ran 14:03 last year. The course, I hope, is in good shape. So, and hopefully we get good weather. We'll have to wait and see. So Lake County coming up, Sycamore Invitational on Tuesday. Some of the top 2A teams there, and then we just go on from there. It'll be a good week. I hope so. Okay. Well, let's stop it here. Well, there's going to be a lot to talk about next week, and hopefully I can get everything in 25 minutes. But it's glad to be back spewing my cynical narrative. But try to stay positive this week. Hydrate. It's going to get warmer as the week goes on. Drink water. Oh, one more thing. Crispin cow chip. So, a number of years ago, okay, when can't get it off. So, when Anna Sophia Keller graduated, I met her aunt for the first time, and her aunt was such a charming lady. She lived in Panama, so she would follow the video shows. But I got a Panamanian flag, so when I always look at that, and I've got things that I look at here that I remember people and things and everything else. So Isabella Keller, who goes in as a freshman at Effingham St. Anthony, ran well. She was second in state behind a girl that's running now at Huntley, Haley Rahman, or I think that's Haley's name. I know it's Haley. But Isabella's going to run cross country. So I hope she just runs. There's a lot of standards that her sister set that are pretty tough to get. But let's see how Isabel does. And I hope she just has fun doing it. So if the Keller's aunt is watching, go Panama. Team Panama. Sorry. Team USA. Team Botswana, Team, please, just United States. I was watching the international feed the last 3 days of the meet, and then I'd go back and watch in Peacock to watch whatever else was happening there. But I was able to pick up the international feed, and it was so refreshing after the first 6 days. I'm like, get me out of here, get me the international feed. So, that being said, let's stop there. I'm just going to keep going on, putting my foot in my mouth. So, until the next time that we meet, this is Michael Newman from ILXCTF.com for Sunday Night with ILXCTF.com. Have a great week. I'll see some of you around cross-country courses this week. Bye.